The island of Hispaniola, which is today the countries of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, was first discovered by Christopher Columbus in 1492. The Spanish stumbled upon the thriving indigenous Taino Indians, who were nearly decimated because they had no immunity to European diseases introduced by the colonists. The Spanish established settlements and lived on the island for about 200 years. In 1697, the Spanish ceded the area of present-day Haiti to France, who temporarily named this area Saint-Dominique. For approximately 100 years, the French governed a complex and wealthy colony, which thrived on the exportation of tobacco, cotton, sugar, and coffee. Hundreds of thousands of slaves were removed from their African homeland to work on the French plantations. By the late 1700s, Saint-Dominique produced about 40% of the sugar and 60% of the coffee consumed in all of Europe. It was a well-oiled trading machine, but unrest and discontent among slaves and mistreated natives grew in response to the brutal labor conditions and violent treatment imposed by the French. After the start of the French Revolution in 1789, turmoil in Saint-Dominique climaxed in 1790 when free men of color were denied citizenship rights. A year later, slaves in the northern region of the colony staged a revolt that started the Haitian Revolution, fighting for their freedom and equality. In 1801, Toussaint Louverture and the slave army emerged victorious, and slavery was abolished almost immediately. Haiti became the first officially independent Latin American and Caribbean nation in 1804, with Jean-Jacques Dessalines as emperor. Over the next 100 years, Haiti became unified, but continued to face political and social conflict, especially between pure-blooded Haitians and mulattoes. In 1956, the infamous dictator and former voodoo physician François Duvalier took control of the country in a military coup. When he died, his son, also a ruthless dictator, Jean-Claude Duvalier, assumed power. During this time, Haitians were deprived of human rights, food, education, and employment. Slums and inner-city poverty exploded, and the Haitian economy, government, and infrastructure suffered. Even after the Duvalier era, Haiti continued to face political strife, military coups, and government corruption. The United States and the United Nations became seriously involved in Haitian affairs, launching programs to combat gang violence, government corruption, and flood damage. In 2010, the infamous 7.0 magnitude earthquake struck Haiti, the worst in 200 years. The world recognized Haiti and came to its support, offering over $5 billion for reconstruction within a few weeks of the event. To this day, Haiti is struggling to rebuild in the face of an explosive cholera epidemic and continued political strife. As you can see, Haiti is a suffering nation. In many ways, the poverty and strife that Haitians face mirrors the African situation after French colonization, recounted by Marlowe in Heart of Darkness. Yes, social instability, natural disasters, and government corruption are never-ending. But when European imperialism left behind a dysfunctional, slave-organized makeshift government, Haiti had already been deprived of the resources it needed to thrive. The Europeans began the awful history of environmental degradation, human rights violations, and corrupt leadership that continues in Haiti to this day. In the same way as Marlowe tells his story In and Out of the Heart of Darkness, this is mine, In and Out of the Heart of Haiti.
Awa, 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 entre les femmes et les hommes, est l'histoire de la bombe qui a tout déréglé. Dis-moi, awa, aurais-je raison? La plus terrible des guerres se passe dans nos maisons. Emily, Balavin, Inyayarake, Anamba de un paranso, Kande unyani.
Não,
In the beginning of Part 2 of Heart of Darkness, Marlowe reflects on his surroundings and says regarding the native Africans, "It was unearthly, and the men no, they were not inhuman. Well, that was the worst of it, the suspicion of their not being inhuman. It would come slowly to one. They howled and leaped and spun and made horrid faces, but what thrilled you was just the thought of their humanity, like yours, the thought of your remote kinship with this wild and passionate uproar. Ugly. Yes, it was ugly enough, but if you were man enough, you would admit to yourself that there was in you just the faintest trace of a response to the terrible frankness of that noise, a dim suspicion of there being a meaning in it, which you so remote from the night of first ages, could comprehend. And why not? As Marlowe journeys up the river toward the inner station in the first section of Part 2, he catches occasional glimpses of native villages along the riverbanks, but he concentrates more on the sounds of drums, chants, and howls. So far, he has classified the natives as savage and inhuman, but his realization of the raw humanity and life in these sounds humbles and disturbs him. This moment is one of several in the text where Marlowe seems to admit the limits of his own perception. Marlowe still casts Africans as a primitive version of himself, rather than as potential equals, but he is finally able to glimpse the intrinsic humanity that exists in all of us, no matter our color, background, origin, or traditional values. Marlowe's journey in and out of the heart of darkness left him sick, disillusioned, depressed, and disheartened. He struggles to reconcile the two different kinds of evil that he has seen, the hypocritical European imperialism and the straightforward, openly violent and senseless Kurds. Fortunately, I returned from my trip healthy and mentally sound. However, I did witness firsthand the cruelty of humanity and the insensitivity of imperialism and corrupt government. Disregarding any ambiguities and hypocrisies, Marlowe's observation that there isn't much difference between him and the African natives was true and profound. In Haiti, talking to the people and playing with the kids always has the strongest impact on me. I look into their faces and see love, excitement, hope, sadness, and disappointment, feelings that you and me experience on a daily basis. Underneath our masks of fancy cars, brand-name clothes, million-dollar houses, and new up-to-date technology, we Americans are all just simply humans, and there is no inherent difference between us and the rest of the world.
Si on savait
The heart of Haiti is its people. Years of European imperialism, corrupt government, social and political conflict, and ravaging natural disasters have left behind fragmented and deteriorating conditions in Haiti. But upon entering a school or a village, we were greeted with songs, smiles, shrieks, touches, and giggles. Kids would come to school that day just because they heard news that there were Blancs visiting. They changed out of their tattered clothes into their best school uniforms and walked the hot miles to school because they wanted to see us. We were welcomed with love and affection into a vibrant and charismatic culture that didn't pity itself or beg for help, but was full of energy, life, and pride. I felt by the end of the week that I had taken with me a lot more than I had left behind. This was my third trip to Haiti, and every time I had left feeling convicted and slightly ashamed. I could barely go a week without my phone, Facebook, and my friends back at home. I was dressing up and going to prom in a few days, after spending hundreds of dollars on a fancy dress and new shoes. But my trip and experiences in Haiti are about so much more than coming home and feeling guilty about the way I am living. I can use that response to motivate me to change certain wasteful or obsessive habits in my life, and I can also use it to help me reflect on and learn from the Haitian people. Instead of surfing the internet or watching TV, kids in Haiti spend time with each other. They play pickup soccer games, hand games, or board games. They sing together, tell stories, take walks, or jump rope. All of the kids I came into contact with loved school, tests, and homework. It was unreal to see how excited they were to learn. I hope watching this video and hearing a bit about my experiences resonates on some level with you. I encourage you to take time at some point in your life to witness poverty firsthand, or immerse yourself in a different culture. It is going to be uncomfortable, but it is such a humbling and valuable experience. Thank you.
C'est comme ça mouillé. Lorsque je vois nos familles déchirées, le désarroi dans les yeux de nos enfants malheureux, on court à Oua, encore et toujours, après l'amour et la clé du bonheur.